Question 8 was CLT in 2021. CLT means common last topic. Common last topic means it was removed from their exam that year because COVID and because some things happened in some school. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it doesn't matter. Moving on. Okay, your exam won't have CLT, so you must know your vectors. And I think fairly lucky for the students because I don't think this vector question is very easy. I think this vector question is quite challenging, but they were not tested on it. So good for them. Unfortunately, you do not have such luck. Now, find the vector that represents a translation from R to S. So they give you position vectors. Position vector means what? OR. That means this is OS. Okay, so you must write RS equal to OS minus OR. Okay, alternatively, you can write, I know some of you write it that way, RO plus OS, which is also okay. Okay, make sure you write this. I already clarified you are supposed to write this, even though this is only 1 mark. Okay, so from here, OS is 3, -1, minus OR, -4, 5. And therefore, you will get 7, -6, 4. They are so nice, they even put the bracket for you. You literally cannot screw it up. They already express it even in the column vector for you. Okay, next, find the magnitude of RS. So magnitude RS indicated by mod RS is equal to square root. This is your Pythagoras theorem basically. So 7 square plus -6 square, which will give you, I don't need this value anymore, so I'll just write 9.22 in 3SF. So notice, just now unit square they got write for you. Now units they never write for you. Don't know what's on Cambridge. By right, you're supposed to write units. But just now unit square they wrote for you. So weird. Then here units they never write. Okay. So this one, first 3 marks. Very straightforward. Question 2, I think is also still quite straightforward. The position vector of T is K, 7, and ST is equal to 10. Find the 2 possible values of K. So the first thing you need to determine is what is ST. So vector ST is equal to vector OT minus vector OS. Okay, so position vector of T means this is OT, yeah? So ST is equal to OT minus OS, which will give you K, 7 minus, what was OS? 3, -1. Okay. And then you simplify this, you will get K, -3, 8. So they tell you magnitude of ST is equal to 10. Okay, so while you all don't learn the modular symbol and exactly what it means, as you can see, you are supposed to know at least because it is magnitude. So since mod ST or magnitude of ST is equal to 10, square root of k minus 3 square plus 8 square is equal to 10. Okay, so this will give you k minus 3 square plus 64 is equal to 10 square. So if you already have if you already have a square, right, don't need to go and expand it. Just go and solve it by square root. Okay, so you will get k minus 3 square is equal to 100 minus 64 will give you 36. Then here, please be very careful. Always remember your plus minus when you take square root. So square root 36 is 6, but you will get 6. Or k minus 3 equals to negative 6. And the question, again, is very friendly to you because they tell you that there are two values. So even if you forget to take square root, the question is so nice that you will remember because they already put it there explicitly for you. So you'll be like, oh yeah, I got plus minus that I forgot. You will put it in. That is how nice they are. Okay, don't be like my Sec 1 student. Forget plus minus square root. So the answer is k equals to 3 or 3. Roll my eyes. Okay, so in this case, k equals to 9 or k equals to negative 3. All right. So still quite straightforward. Question B is the one that is no longer so straightforward. I think if this were tested that year, I think quite a few students would struggle with it. ABCD is a parallelogram. F is a point on AB, such that AF to AB is 1 to 2. So first things first, label. AF to AB is 1 to 2. That means this is 1U, this is 1U. In other words, they are equal. Okay. Then G is such that BG to GC is 3 to 1. So the total is 4. AD is vector P, AG is vector Q. Express CD as simply as possible in terms of P and Q. Still quite easy. So if you look at CD, how to get to CD? Using what you know. CD, in this case, will be equal to CG plus GA plus AD. Correct? You can see that. If you cannot see, you just go and draw the direction of travel. That's how you get CD. Obviously, we can find GA, which is negative Q. We can find AD, which is just P. So the only thing that we actually need to find is CG. And you should realize that CG is 1/4 of CB. That's all. And then from here, CB is negative 1/4 P, because you're moving the other direction. Then GA, again, is negative Q, because moving the other direction. And finally, AD is just P. Simplify it. You will get 3/4 P minus Q. Okay. H is the point such that DH is equal to GF. Express AH as simply in terms of P and Q. So they tell you that DH is equal to GF. Where is GF? So go and draw in the vector GF. And they tell you that GH is equal to GF. DH is equal to GF. Where is DH? So if you look at the direction of travel, you should know that it should look something like this. Okay, DH equal to GF. So it should look something like this. Go and draw it out in the diagram so that you can visualize. So from here, express AH as simply as possible in terms of P and Q. Ask yourself, what will AH be? Sorry, AH will be here, right? So draw in AH. I use a different color. This will be AH. So this is GF. Because DH is equal to GF. So in other words, AH will be from the diagram, AH will be A to D, then D to H, correct? Again, you can just go and outline. This is AH, right? So you can visualize that AH is equal to KD plus DH, which would naturally be equal to AD plus GF. Okay. So what is GF? So now you need to go and resolve the vector GF. How to get from G to F? If you look at this, GF is either GB plus BF or GA plus AF. Up to you which one you prefer. Either one is fine. But look at what you already found. You found CD. CD is which direction? CD is this direction in part A. So if this direction, do I want to use GA plus AF or do I want to use GB plus BF? I would rather use GB plus BF because I already have CD. And BF is just half CD. So you refer to what you already found in part 1 to help you decide which way to go. So the way I want to go for GF is this plus this because I have CD. I know I can go and flip to find DC, but why do the extra work? Okay, so what we want to find here is to find GB. And GB is 3/4 of negative P. Okay, so from here, GF is equal to GB plus BF. And what is GB? GB is 3/4 of negative P. In other words, negative 3/4 P. All right. On the other hand, what is BF? BF is half of CD. And what is half of CD? We already simplified CD just now. So half times 3/4 P minus Q. Simplify this. Wow. So I will end up with negative 3R8P plus, or rather minus half Q. Okay, that's your GF. And now we can continue with our substitution here. We already have AD. What is AD again? AD is vector P. GF is negative 3R8P minus Q, minus half Q. And therefore, you will have 5/8P minus half Q. Done. So vector questions very often are a little bit tedious, but this kind of vector question is not very, very difficult. Okay, they just want you to resolve the vectors. So you go and draw out and then go and find what's the path, so to speak, that they take. Then you will find it. All right. I'll let you all digest this a little while. Now you may have a different way of finding the answer, but as long as you get the answer, obviously it's correct. Okay. And highly unlikely in vector question that you will find it wrongly and somehow end up with the correct answer by fluke. That one is really very unlikely. So if you did it by a different method, but you got the correct answer, it's fine. Okay. Yeah, Xingming. Maybe you send me the question. But you know it's a fluke, for sure. Normally when you're proving trigo, but it's a fluke, usually has to do with you assuming something. That, or you get a value that doesn't make sense. For example, you got something like tangent 90. So that one will be a fluke because tangent 90 is undefined. So you cannot prove a trigo that ends up being undefined, but then you cancel out why it's undefined. And without showing me the question, I cannot comment any further. If you manage to find the question, you send me.